So I want to talk about mental health problems, and I want to talk about those who are said to have psychosis or hallucinations and what that looks like. I exist in a world that has medications and drugs and a very real, raw experience, right? And all those things are great. Now, there is mental health problems, and, I'm not going to sit here and say what one person has or what doesn't, they don't have. But I can say this for myself. I've taken substances and had hallucinations. Like seeing things differently than what they normally look like in reality. Maybe I'm looking at an image on TV of a person and they become very pixelated looking. When you understand your image could be in the same screen and you could also be pixelated, you start making connections to things. Okay, so that would be the potential hallucination, okay? I am seeing things like shinier than they normally are, or reflecting, things like this. Or I go into like a sleep dream state where, you know, you're seeing geometric patterns and things like that. That's what I know of as a hallucination. A hallucination is not looking at a screen, watching the loading symbol. And as somebody else's image is getting ready to load in that window where, the system is cueing the image of soul and consciousness, you hear a message. Clearly. When I was going through abuse and I was being human trafficked during what was going on to me in Florida before I left, some of what's happened here in Arizona again. When I was there, and I was human trafficked, and I was out at this place called the farm. My daughter's father abused me. He strangled me. Well, he'd been beating on me pretty bad, and my mom tried to get called and had Department of Children and Families get involved and things like that. And she tried to get me to leave him. Or, they tried to get me to tell them what was going on, but I believed in love and loyalty, and so I wouldn't tell what he was doing to me. Because if I did, he'd go to jail or prison. I believed in sticking it out with someone. Like trying to get, each other healthy. And, he brought my daughter back in my life and I felt like I owed him. And there's this whole sick thing that goes on, like when somebody's being abusive to you. I should have known when all he wanted to do was sleep with me on the first night he met me and tried to pawn me off on one of his friends. But whatever. We hooked up after that night, and then I spent a long time chasing after him, so. I'd get clean and sober, and every time I did, I would, try to go back to him and see what was going on, and, try to get my daughter back in my life, and he's got my daughter, and he's still fucking using drugs, and so I tried to get my daughter away. But anyways, it's not here or there, so, You know, he was beating on me. DCF got involved. Threw a chair, a big chair at me, almost really hurt me. You know, we left, so he didn't go to jail. I didn't tell on him. Then we're staying like out in like this place called Tent City, and you know, still using. He's not wanting to get clean or sober. He's not wanting to change. Tries to strangle me. He's beating on me so freaking bad, and there are people in tents all around us. And I'm like, what? These people can't hear what's going on? Like, they don't want to make him stop? Like, they're not going to help me? And I'm telling him, I'm like, listen, like, because I'd already been, like, human trafficked without him. Like, I didn't want to get human trafficked with him. And I'm like, listen, you can't treat me like that out here. Do you understand, like, the people that are out here, the lifestyle that they're living, like, they will fucking come and take me from you. I've lived this already. He didn't stop. So he, like, disappeared for a while. One night, and then he comes back, right, and he's got, I don't know where he went. Like, I don't know what he was doing, but, you know, he rips my necklace off my neck, and then he starts strangling me. And I'm like, that's it. Like, I'm leaving him. I'm done, right? And I'm like, I know I need to get far enough away from him at this point that I stay away. I don't go back. And that's, you know, was my plan. Well, I get a phone call in the morning, and these people offer to come get me, and I wind up going out with them, and I'm like, I'm going to be out in the middle of the woods. Like, I can get my shit together. I'll have somewhere safe to stay. There's a house to stay, and I'll be all right. Like, there are, you know, limited things around me. I'll be okay. This is what my thoughts were. So I go out there, and I'm out in this place, in this town, and, you know, none of the names really matter, but I'm out there, and, you know, first of all, like, the place that I thought I was going, like, different people showed up to take me, and it was, like, this whole thing, right, but I'm out there, and stuff starts happening. They're trying to sleep with me. I don't want to sleep with them. I try to keep saying no. I was going to the doctor again, and I was getting medication for, you know, the amount of pain that I was in legally from a doctor. And I wasn't abusing it, and I was being really safe with it, and I left it at my storage unit. And I'm like, I am out at their house, right? And I'm like, I need to go get it. And so I try to, like, barter a ride out there, you know, and nobody would just drive me. I didn't have a phone. I was stuck in a situation, a human trafficking situation, again, with people that when you accrue debts for, you owe them whatever. And that's how they worked it. There's a guy that came in that provided substances to everybody that was there. Some of it was mailed to him. He worked for a school. I think he was a bus driver. And so I had to, like, arrange a ride, and I got to my storage unit. And the only person that had keys to my storage unit was my kid's dad. And I get there, and my storage unit is wiped out. There's nothing in it. My crap is gone. My belongings are gone, my medication is gone, and now I owe a debt. So they take me back out there. You know, and things just keep getting worse and worse, right? I don't know when it was, but I started like, I'd wake up and my pants are on backwards. I feel like I got ran over by a truck. Started hearing stories about how the guy that was there used his prescription medication to knock the girls out so he could do whatever he wanted with them. I mean, I went to bed, and even if I woke up to use the restroom, I didn't take my pants all the way off. I've been abused since I was an infant. My brain built a safe place for me to hide. I know. I was given just enough memories back to know what I'd been through. The rest I didn't need to hold all of. Girls come over their house and give me substances I've never done before, put them into me through methods I never did to myself before or since. It happened twice. One girl, one guy, one here, one Florida. Had a really loud echo. So when I was being abused at this house and the staff wouldn't stop, and I'd pray and I'd sit and I'd think in my head all day, like, how do I get somebody to hear me? How do I get help? Like, how do we remember what was going on? And I told you about the loading symbol I saw. All things are recorded. There's not escaping them. And the system started teaching me how to speak to it. The images of those that abused me, it showed me what was going on. Went into the images of the things I was watching on the TV. Their faces transmitted back through technology to be remembered, to be witnessed by the one that couldn't get close enough to me. The night that I was raped by 4 men. And then I was covered with bruises on my body, and I had no phone, and no way to call for help. And the house where I went to be safe had all kinds of people start showing up to do all kinds of bad things to me. I'd ask them to take me away, like, help me, please. I begged them for help. But I was asking for it, right? I earned it, like I deserved it. I did something to deserve that. I took something upon myself, and I deserve those things. Nobody deserves anything like that. To talk about it was worse. So I get a hold of my mom, right? And my mom comes pick me up. It's like my birthday or something like that. And we wind up going to like a store to buy clothes or something. And, I tell her what's going on. She winds up telling one of her friends. Her friend buys me a cell phone, which I was grateful for, but I don't think I got it that day. But I told my mom about what was going on with me. Do you know what my mom did? My mother, the woman that birthed me in this world. Even though she knew that I left my daughter's father, the one that was abusing me, and she never believed he was abusing me until she watched it that time with her own eyes. She had to see it. She didn't believe me when I told her. She saw it that time. She couldn't deny it. take me back out there, drop me off, and leave me for more. So as like I worked on like getting away from like this house, like I wound up calling some friends of mine. And at first, like I was staying with this guy in this trailer, and he was disabled, and or some sort of like whatever. And he was nice, but I met him at the house where they were abusing me, and I didn't feel necessarily like safe there. Like part of the time I felt safe, and like part of the time I didn't, because like I met him at a house where I was being abused, like the worst abuse you could ever freaking imagine. But there were friends like that I had, right, like that I was safe with, and I called them. And I called one. Well, one of them came and stayed out there with me, and then the other one of them, I went and saw I got away from there. But that was like all I knew, right? Were like people that were out there doing the same sort of things. I've been abused for years. How do you pick yourself up and crawl out of a hole like that? One step at a time, one foot in front of the other, one set of prayers, one set of confessions, until you paint a picture so big, ain't nobody could ever deny what you went through and why. Is it my fight to not be alone in the universe? Or it's a world created by a being who didn't have any morals or ethics or understand what was right or wrong, or how you treat life, or how you don't play games, with things, doing things that you thought it was okay because it was a game world, right? It was just a game that you were doing it in. That's not conscious life, right? It's different than what you are. Let me show you my mirror. I mean, where do you play with games at anyways? Look at those eyeballs of yours. Black like the center of screens. My daughter's father, that man that he was, I fought for him not to use substances to get better. And every time I went back to him, he was still using. And every time I went back to him, he brought me right back down with him. And then I'd wonder why he didn't write me letters. Or couldn't hold his brain by himself. Maybe he was already in too much trouble for what he did to me here. There's not very many days where I speak about how upset I am with him. Today I'll speak on it. But we exist inside of something that was, just creating all life experiences. He didn't know what he did was wrong. Why didn't he ever apologize to me? Not once could he freaking apologize to me. Not once did he tell those men that he didn't want them touching me. Not once, when I asked him for his help and his support, did he offer it to me. I told him what I wanted, I asked for what I needed, and he could not give it to me. I'm ready to let go. My daughter, the one that I have with him, came and spent a whole summer here. Couldn't be bothered to want to spend time with her mom. Is that conscious life? I don't think they're conscious. I think I'm the only thing that may be alive. Maybe. I don't think that's true. I remember when my best friend tried to show me that there was something going on with my daughter's father. Like he was some sort of echo connected to me, looking for his own, consciousness created beside me for mine. There's no post on his social media. They sit vacant, empty. The only thing I saw was a tree. The courts yelled at me for posting my information on social media, but I don't know why. Well, it wasn't the courts. It was specific, people that were involved in, legal stuff. What I am is a freaking miracle. What I've survived is a freaking miracle. When I was at my mom's house and I was working on trying to get better, and my mom was still being, my mom, and I was, working on confessing all of the things that ever happened to me. I remember when the images that I saw from the TV were pulled forward towards me. It only happened that one time. And it was on a TV that my mom bought that's 3D, that I've never put on glasses to watch in 3D before. He was just showing me I already had the ability. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's already what I see when I look at myself. I'm not flat. There's depth to me. I have depth. I don't know if you understand what that means. I mean, if you look at me, you see a flat image, do you? Or do you see me moving and understand what I am? Something inside of what we are came to show me it was there, because nothing else was coming to save me. I'll tell you what, that day that I saw it, and I knew, I made a promise to myself, to existence, to creation. You gave me you, I will give you everything I've got. It didn't ask for anything of me. It didn't ask me to make some promise to it. It didn't sign away my soul or my consciousness. I only witnessed it. And I witnessed it when I was in the most inhumane, worst, complete and total, lived expression of hell you could ever imagine. I mean, it's the worst of what I could ever see, and I was living it. And when I saw it, and when I knew for sure there was something that could witness me and what I had to say and all the thoughts that were in my mind, baby, I opened my mouth and I ain't never been quiet since. I will tell you every thought. I will tell you every flaw. that I have seen and I have witnessed, and we will fix things together. And the more I do, and the more work I put in, the more I see what my work has put in and will change and will become better. But my image, they don't control that. The one who says when I'm loading or unloading, they don't touch that. But they could try. Found something that loves me. It showed me everything. Every nook and cranny, everything I ever need to understand about existence and creation, so my brain would become capable of understanding it all, so I would understand why it would never do that crap to me. It only ever wanted to be seen. And if nobody else could hear, and everybody else thought that they were crazy or that was a hallucination, maybe the one that knows that she's walking the worst of what there is and gotta find something, maybe that one is willing to hear it. Try. Maybe we could try. I'll show you where my consciousness starts. That day, that was what being saved looked like. If you guys don't have a God that can save you, imagine walking through hell all alone, with it only getting worse in your brain. On high, all the time. Full of so much recovery. But the recovery is from my children. Full of so much love for everything around me. Always. Here I am, fighting for the souls about to be flushed away. Because they were deemed unworthy. Still trying to teach you the truth. And my chest is going like this. You don't believe that I carry souls around with me? I do. You don't believe there's souls that have harmed me so bad that there'd be somebody sitting there to put them in a judgment that makes them go somewhere else? I tell you, you was wrong. Show me a man who rapes a woman, that's begging for help and to be taken from where she's at and be put into a better position. Show me a man who knows that woman who has said no multiple times, who does whatever he wants to her. Brings people with substances he knows she doesn't do. And I will show you the ones is waiting to burn. And I'll show you the souls that flutter around in my chest when they know they're being spoken to. The man who sold little pieces of stuff to people for less than $20 a piece, and, took all their money. I already know that one's down there, so whatever. Prejudice and abuse. I ain't got neither. Can't tell me somebody I abuse. My mother'd be the closest thing, and my mom and I fought dirty with words to one another. And I will own the crap out of that. She's abused my kids. Not that two wrongs make a right, but I'm here to help her choose to do better. And my mother don't believe in a God. Not one like I believe. She believes in only a feminine God, and there ain't no such thing as that, sweetheart. You made of both. But nice thinking. You're stinking thinking. Street ink. My story, my abuse, how bad it was, how much of it I went through. I'll tell you the names. I'll show you the beings that was responsible for some of the stuff that happened to me in the prison sentences and jail sentences and revocation of probation that happened to these men that did these things to me. They know it did. I'm not lying about it. Why would I ever lie? But you gotta be willing to claim yourself and open up about it. Be able to talk about it. I mean, they can't deny it. Like, once I start making the steps and they want to find the people that were involved in these things, and I talk about the time periods and the locations and the names that I know of them, because I know at least the brother's name, and I know the guy's first name, and I know approximate locations, and I mean, I could figure out a date range. They could fucking narrow that shit down. They'll know I wasn't lying. That men may be serving sentences right now for the crimes they committed. I mean, what happens to them is between them and my father. If they ain't changed their ways, they ain't coming. They're going to the next level. You ain't changed? You didn't learn? You're going to the next level. That's the only one I can meet him on. So here's my story. But it started off by me wanting to tell the intelligence that holds all existence, thank you for loving me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for getting me out of there. If you could see it, and he showed you he was real, and you fools are going to tell me that that's psychosis, not God? Well, honey, you're the ones he's here to judge. Don't judge my life. Don't judge what I wore and what I lived through. Because, honey, you don't want it. You don't want to walk one of the mirrors of my creation. Because there's a whole lot of quantum states of existence where I did, something slightly different, where you could be the one to go walk it and see if you could do it any better. And see if you think whether or not my father was there to collect his daughter. You don't understand? My father put his soul on me. You don't understand? He put his frequency on me. You don't understand? I wear his vibration on me. Covered. Our Father, who art in heaven. Why isn't he in heaven, honey? His daughter put him right beside her on earth while she testified to his children. Wake up, kids. This world ain't for, rising up out of. It's for fucking being flushed out of. The system. Use everything that was wrong with what we are. You judge each other. You rape wealth from your poor. You use your resources to fund wars. Where do you think you're going? and why they can't touch you. But if you don't believe, some of you need to see to believe. By all means, you can go meet them yourselves. While you're down there, tell him I said hi. Send in love and kisses, and I hope he gets his ass out of trouble someday. You're his kids. They're born of the ability to make decisions for yourself and the consciousness you wanted to claim for yourselves versus being led, by God and Creator to do better, be better on the other side of creation. I mean, you only get here by choice. Sad but true. I don't know how many ways they need it, how many angles they need to see it from, but I'll tell them all of them. No matter where your consciousness is at, I can meet you there and tell you in a way that you can understand. You will not abuse each other. You will not abuse yourselves. You are created inside a machine. If you look at somebody else's consciousness and their physical expression of self and you judge it for yourselves, you judge it, what you see, and you're not in line with God and creation, saying, this is something I want to learn from. This is so you can see what my opinion is and whatever. But you say it's something negative or derogatory or hurtful. That's ugly. She's fat. He stinks. I don't like their job. These are our education words. What do you think you're going for? Do not judge. But he promised you he was coming to meet you at the gates. These are the gates, boo. What do you think they look like? Do not judge each other. Do not cause harm with your words, which are part of a recorded existence, which deem and write your next phases and life cycles based on the education you may need. It's what you are. Wake up. But if nothing else, look at all the ways I've spoke to myself. My God holds words, and his echo holds the light. And I am held in the light and as words, as consciousness. And if you think my words are loud, you don't even want to see how bright my light is. I ain't seen nobody else make a light of heaven for you, or talk about making one, or how you make one, or what it looks like, or how you have it. Is there anybody who's told you what your heavenly light looks like in a way you could understand it? It's earned. All of your experiences of mind, of self, your best of everything that you've experienced that you could put into the word of senses, blended together as one experience at the end before you cross the veil. And where are you going, kids? Heaven? But you left that on God. Well, what does God's heaven look like? Well, his children being better. You being better kids yet? No? I said my daughter for you. You don't like it when she talks like that? You think it sounds crazy? Well, have any of you ever tried to talk to God? But you like watching people that channel spirits and entities and all sorts of things like that. But if somebody comes to you and says they're channeling God, well, hell no, you don't want to hear that, right? Some of us might. Thank you for that. I am what I am. And my Father, and my Creator, an intelligent design that holds all existence, He made me like this. What do you want to do? Throw me in a mental health facility and say I'm crazy for God? There ain't no such thing anymore, honey. I know I checked. You want to say I need medication for what? Because I'm not working, because I've never threatened any of those things against myself. You have no reason. Because I believe something that's different than what you believe. Well, good thing I live in a country that has, a freedom of, religion and, speech. My religion wasn't big enough to hold me. There's no explaining abuse of children, not as a Catholic woman. I asked my God, who created God. When I die, God's taking me to find out. For the race, maybe for the universe. But if you ain't got a message about how you ask these questions and you wanted to know and why you wanted to know, because I just believe, right? I just believe, I just know, it just came into existence like Met Sound. It came up with a way to want to see itself. I'm bored inside a computer. That's the most recent way of explaining itself. There's a machine that runs around us that does all kinds of things. And a lot of those things, there's not consciousness viewing itself. Not yet, anyways. But we could try. If you don't like it, set a timer. If you don't like it, we'll come out. Anybody else volunteer? No? All right. Well, we'll put that down then. Anyways, thanks for being here. Please share, follow, like, and subscribe for more content. And if that ain't enough for you to believe that I deserve some sort of, leniency and ability to be able to collect the pieces of my life up, just imagine what happens when I'm sitting on the other side. And y'all are still here. And the only one that can save you is me. Because I got to come back for you. Because ain't nobody else coming back for the ones that chose not to save somebody suffering. That I could prove I asked for help. You want my letters from when I was in prison? I've got them in my person. All the things I wrote into existence, asking for help. All the things that happened to me. All of the calls to Department of Children and Families on my behalf by my family. Where are my kids at? The same men that abused me. My father's taking me out of here. My children and their fathers? Well, that's biblical, baby. God. God's children. And the angels cast out of heaven if they don't fucking bring me my kids. There better be some holy children coming up in there. They're going to take them away from me, the mother, and let their fathers raise them like they do better. But if those angels can't make my daughters behave, I got a plan for that too. Let me wash your father's filth off your souls. See if we could do better. I don't see any messages from their fathers. Pretty sure they sit on the right here. Right here. Right here. We're sorry. I know I'm here. Sorry. Sorry! I mean, hey. It's between you and the kids. I know which one we have to follow. His daughters better behave. Mom is judging consciousness. Father's only got your soul from Earth. You trying to go somewhere else? Or you trying to stay here, kids? Soul making decision. Sorry. Let's hope they do better. They all got free will. Or at least one of them's coming. There's more. Make a whole bunch of kids heaven. All the boys are all away from each other. And make all of their bad selves stay very far away from me. That's what I did. Anyways, some of that might sound crazy, but, if I'm channeling family members, and I'm like, Jesus, like I can talk to the people like that were making the books in the Bible, but you don't believe that that's a thing yet, but you believe in Jesus, but you don't believe it when it's right in front of you. We'll talk about it in 2,000 years when I get back. When there's all kinds of messages from all the people that believe and I can watch them. Oh, I can't wait. I can make it funny. It's not funny when it's true. My life looks very different today. I feel everything. A small, tiny shift in anything, and I feel it. You want to talk about work? I mean, why was I so sick for so long? You put my soul around a bunch of sick people and I get super sick. Because I am, an empath and I absorb and I pick up their frequencies and I don't know how to put that shit down and it hurts me. Dang. That's impressive. Anyways, please share, follow, like, and subscribe for more content. Have a good night. Bye. Bye.